Welcome, welcome, welcome to call number 1 of Angel Academy 9 entering the Akashic Records. As always, I am Matt Kahn, and it is a privilege and honor to be here with you. As we start this first call, first of, I believe it's 9. Believe so. I'll have to check the flyer that we wrote out for it. The first of many calls, we are going to explore and establish our own connection to the Akashic Records. And as I meet you on this call, whether you have watched some of my YouTube videos, whether you've listened to my Healing Your Empathic Heart radio show on hayhouseradio.com, however we have met, I have spent the last 13 years being a living transmission of consciousness for millions and millions of heart-centered beings around the world. And I've come to a point in my career where I want to further the service I offer you and so many. And that not just to offer you the transmissions of healing energy that come through me for you to absorb, but I want to take my work to the next level, and I want to help you become a fully activated, embodied, living transmission of energy for you and everyone in your life. So this is where the work that we do together deepens and expands so that you can become reacquainted with the power of your consciousness, where you can restore the full frequency of your soul's embodiment, where all of your gifts and powers can be reactivated and you can embody the light of spirit and fulfill the destiny infinite lifetimes in the making. And of course, Angel Academy 9 is just the first exciting step in returning that sacred power to you and bringing to almost nearly your fingertips the ability to co-create reality with the perfection of light. And so this first call of the series is the most exciting introduction as we get to know the Akashic Records. And just as a way of really introducing us and really anchoring us energetically into this call, I just want to start with a few breaths. And just take in a breath, seated in whatever position feels comfortable to you. And we're just going to take a breath and relax our nervous system. We're going to relax our nervous system because in order to receive the wisdom, the guidance, and the help of the Akashic Records, our body needs to be relaxed. Because whenever the body is relaxed, our heart is open to receiving. So when our body is relaxed, we are sending a message to our highest guidance. Yes, I am ready to be guided. Yes, I am willing to receive your help. And so we relax the nervous system so to open up and allow these gifts to be received. And we take a breath in, and we let that breath out. We take a breath in, and we let that breath out. Taking a breath in, and letting the breath out. Another breath in, and a breath out. Now, from this relaxed position, I would like to transmit to you a very brief and introductory process on how to connect with the Akashic Records. Now, of course, when we hear that, we think, what are the step-by-step things I can do to connect with that highest guidance? And in this introduction, I don't want us to think of connecting with the Akashic Records as a form of doing. I would like to introduce it to you as a form of undoing. Sometimes it's not what you do in life to create deeper connections of higher meaning. It's what we either don't do or we surrender doing. So let's just sit as we open up to connecting with the Akashic Records. And believe me, as we go along with this call, there will be some other step-by-step things to actually do and say out loud. For those of you that are hoping for a repeat after me, you are in for quite a lovely surprise. But the first step of connection is an undoing, not a doing. So in order to dismantle the control of the inner doer, try these words out loud. In order to connect to the Akashic records, my ego doesn't have to be in control. And just by saying these words so sweetly, we're letting that ego just let go and step aside. In order to connect with the Akashic records, my ego does not have to be in control. And then, of course, we say the words that allows us to surrender some of these really, really, really deep ingrained fears. I'm not going to miss out on anything. I cannot get this wrong in any way. I'm not going to miss out on anything, and I cannot get this wrong in any way. I'm not going to miss out on anything, and I cannot get this wrong in any way. I'm not going to miss out on anything, and I cannot get this wrong in any way. And I say this to you so sweetly and directly so that when we open the Akashic records, every one of our experiences are deliberately occurring for our soul's highest benefit. So let's say I walk you through activating the Akashic records today. And let's say you have a really big surge of energy. That's the specific way in which the universe wants to show you how you connect with the universe. Let's say you receive a vision and you're starting to see images in your mind's eye, or you start to enter like a lucid dream state. That's just the way in which your soul is predetermined to connect with psychic energy. And let's say you just feel the presence of protection around you, or you feel a deeper alignment, or it's like a column of light comes alive within your body. And even if you didn't experience any of that, it doesn't mean that you're having less of an experience than anyone else. Some of us, in our soul's essence, identify with the vastness of space. So sometimes we really want these special, spectacular psychic fireworks-like experiences, and it seems like nothing's happening. And I can assure you it's not nothing is happening. It's just happening on such a subtle realm that sometimes our senses have not been activated and attuned to that subtle shift of information and way of interacting with light. So some of us identify with the vastness of space, so it feels almost like an emptiness. Some of us will receive vision. Some of us will feel light. We will feel ourselves expanded. We will literally feel energy pouring out of the top of our head and like a column of light being constructed inside of us. All of us are completely different and unique, and all of us are having the same equally spectacular and miraculous experience of the Akashic records. And we take these deep breaths to unravel our attachment to leading with an overly unconscious masculine energy. Where if we connect with the Akashic records and we don't have the experience we want, in the first 3 seconds we get frustrated and fed up. Let's surrender that tendency. Let us surrender frustration so not to bring it into the sacred hallways of the Akashic records. Let us surrender the need to be in a hurry. Come on, universe, tell me the answer right now. We cannot demand. We cannot insist. We can only invoke and invite and allow. One way to shift out of the unconscious masculine energy and into the conscious integrated energies of both the masculine and feminine is the unconscious approach of the Akashic records is a need to know. I need to know this answer. I need to know what to do. I need to know. And it's almost as if we are entering into a sacred communion with a defiance and almost an aggressive energy. And the universe is made up of such profound light that if we just enter in the most sacred, beautiful, inviting way, infinite worlds open nearly right before our eyes. So I will tell you that part of connecting with the Akashic Records is knowing how to approach communion with the universe. And instead of it being leading with a need to know, we enter with a willingness to listen. So just before we open the Akashic Records, try these words out loud. Instead of entering with a need to know, I am open to listen. I am opening to listen to what wisdom has to say. Instead of entering with a need to know, I am opening to listen and allowing wisdom to speak. And sometimes one of the reasons why our intuition seems so cut off or we can't hear it is because we are demanding answers instead of saying, okay, Spirit, I'm willing to listen. And throughout this many call odyssey that we will be on together, I want you to give yourself permission and not demand that you have to have the biggest spiritual experience in the first call. I want you, if you can, to open up and say, this is the universe guiding this series, and I accept that I am always having exactly the experience I'm meant to have. Nothing is wrong. Nothing's wrong with me. This is the universe giving me exactly what I need in order to see through my most limiting beliefs and to make contact with my most infinite possibility. So as we get ready to open the Akashic Records, and remember, we will have an entire call dedicated to activations, clearings, and integrations, a whole energetically fueled call. We will also have 2 calls dedicated solely to your questions. And in future calls, I will even walk you through the process of how to connect with the Akashic Records. In fact, the repeat after me I'm going to walk you through right now to actually connect with the Akashic Records that I channeled from the universe. Throughout this call series, we're going to email you these invocations so you have them in writing. But the universe has been very specific in saying, before I email you these words, I have to walk you through the process of how to use it. Because sometimes we have a tendency to think that more is better. And doing an invocation like this is so energetically charged that doing it every day, all day, isn't going to be better than doing it just once a day or a few times a week. So I assure you, you will receive all the reference materials, all the here's what to do, so you can always connect with the Akashic Records. And every time we connect at events, you're just going to keep going through upgrades and expansions to deepen your connection and to expand your ability to live in a multi-dimensional reality. And today, on this first call, is just the introduction as we open the doorway to a new sacred reality. And so as we all take a few breaths together, breathing in and breathing out, we ground into the earth exactly where we sit. We connect heart to heart, creating a web of light around this beloved earth plane, and set the intention that what we are about to experience in the Akashic Records and bring back with us will simultaneously be gifts for ourselves and equally blessings for all beings upon the planet, so that all that we are doing for ourselves, we are equally doing for humanity at large. And we take another breath. And because the invocations I'm going to walk you through will be emailed to you throughout the duration of the series, probably in the last half of the series, if not maybe around the last 3 calls of the series. Just know that when you do this repeat after me, you don't have to hold all the words in your head. If you zone out for a moment, it doesn't mean you're disconnected. Just by repeating out loud the words I will give you, a few words at a time, you are opening up your antenna and connecting with the Akashic records. And there will be a time in this repeat after me where I say, open the records of this soul, and I'll say fill in the blank, which means stating your first, middle, and last name out loud. That will be the only interactive part of this. And we will go through an opening and connecting with the Akashic records. We will allow the Akashic records to make its presence known to us, whether visually, whether auditorily, whether energetically, or telepathically. We will receive some energetic upgrades, and we will welcome a message from the Akashic records, and then we will then close the Akashic records and bring ourselves back into our bodies, and then I will take some questions from our beautiful audience. And the reason I'm going to do it in that order is because when we close the Akashic records and I take some questions, it gives us a chance to really integrate back into our bodies and really come back fully integrated so that each call is energetically responsible in bringing you out into the inner dimensions of the universe and bringing you back into your body safe and sound so you can enter back into your world more perfect, whole, and complete than ever before. So with that, we take one more breath in, breathing in, and breathing out. And with this, repeat after me. For the well-being of all, we open the Akashic records. Please repeat after me. Father, Mother, God, I clear away all doubts and distractions by entering the sacred hallways of the Akashic records. Thank you for using my thoughts, feelings, inspirations, and intuitions as a vessel for your highest will that I accept as the will of my own. I let go of all that is ready to depart and welcome all that is ready to enter my newly reborn reality that I co-create with your eternal heavenly grace, with no expectations or resistance to feeling, knowing, hearing, and remembering all that is. I surrender into the holy faith, the holy truth, the holy light, the holy love, and the holy perfection of sacred aligned communion. Please open the records of this soul. Please state your first and last name here, and middle name. Providing me all the clarity, encouragement, healing, integration, and expansion that I require at this time. Thank you for listening to my concerns, providing clarity to my questions, and shifting my awareness into a recognition of my highest truth. In the name of the light, I step into the oneness of my appointed divine authority and welcome the knowledge of the Akashic records with openness, gratitude, humility, and joy. The Akashic records are now open. Please help my body open to receive this newly expanded vibration of consciousness, fully anchored into the timeline of my soul's highest potential, with more happiness, peace, ease, empowerment, and serenity than ever before. I am ready to proceed. Just feel. That was the invocation of the Akashic Records. We are now connected to the Akashic Records. And every time we have this call, each week we're going to connect deeper and deeper. And right now, this first call, the universe said, when you do this invocation, it is just to feel the connection of the Akashic Records. So just take this moment. Can you feel? I can feel in my third eye. My third eye is blasted so wide open. I can feel on the top of my head light pouring from the top of my head into the universe, like a cord from heaven connecting all the way down into my body. But maybe your feeling is different. Just take a moment and feel. And give yourself a moment to really just notice, what do I feel right now? Do you feel safety? Do you feel well-being? Do you feel peace? Do you feel courage? Do you feel love? Maybe you feel seen by forces that used to be invisible to you. Just feel. Just feel what it's like to be more palpably connected to the Akashic Records. And say these words out loud. Please confirm that I am connected to the Akashic Records by bringing me a sign, either mentally, emotionally, energetically, or telepathically. Please confirm I am connected to the Akashic Records now. And if at any time in this process we start to feel a little uneasy, we just take a breath and we relax. And now we invite the Akashic Records to give us a message, so try these words out loud. If there is anything that I need to know, whether expected or unexpected, whether popular to my ego or unpopular to my ego, in serving the truth, please bring me this clarity and message now. What do I need to know, Akashic Records? How can I serve your will? And even if it's not coming with words, it might just be a feeling washing over your body. Let it be this. This just means it's telepathic. And you're receiving information beyond the linguistics of spoken words. Sometimes we receive messages beyond language. So just feel. Sometimes we're not given a message with words, we're just infused with a vibration that is bringing us more into wholeness. And lastly, we ask the Akashic Records, please bring me an energetic download right now. Please open my heart. Please clarify and open my third eye. Please open my crown and allow my root chakra to be more open, balanced with an open heart, an open, steady solar plexus chakra, a strong and stable sacral chakra, a vocal and purified throat chakra, and a purified third eye chakra. Let all my energy centers be opened and balanced so that I may feel that I am being utilized by the universe, by divine appointment, as a carrier of energy that is awakening the planet. Please bring that energy into my energy field. Pour it down through my central channel. Please express it evenly throughout all my open chakras and let me feel the perfection I am. And just feel. For some of us, this might actually feel like you're instantaneously in the deepest meditation you've ever felt. But unlike you meditating, this is what it's like to be meditated by the universe. Just feel. Remember, each call, we're going to be connecting with the Akashic Records in a different way, and each time our experiences will become more vibrant. Some of us it's visual. Some of us it's auditory. Some of us kinesthetic. Some of us telepathic. Some of us emotional. Some of us mental. It's all perfect. And here's why I say that. And as we sit in the Akashic Records, I can provide this teaching. In the Akashic Records is a book of all lifetimes. Each of us have our own book filled with all the soul contracts from all lifetimes, including this one. And there are gatekeepers in the Akashic Records who are the ones who are designated to open the books. When I have visited the Akashic Records, I don't wander through the hallways and start reaching for books. There's a protocol. When I've entered the Akashic Records, I stand at the entrance and I wait for a gatekeeper to greet me. Gatekeepers don't speak. This is my experience. They silently, like a monk, like a Benedictine monk, they guide you down a hallway to a specific book in a big library. And it's the book of your lifetime. And it opens to a specific page. And there's almost like, you know when you put a bookmark on a book? But it's like a golden tassel. This is how I saw it. And the golden tassel is in the specific soul contract for what you're there to work out. It'd be wonderful if you can flip through the pages, but unfortunately the gatekeeper's open to what they're there to show you. And you're there to see, to receive, to acknowledge, and sometimes agreements are made. But we don't wander through the Akashic Records just looking at books. We enter with reverence, knowing that the individual mind of a human being, an individual mind, is the entire universe experiencing itself as a human being. And in the same way, the absolute potential of one human being is an entire universe around you. And so what that means is the book that symbolically rests inside the Akashic Records, where all of your soul contracts and knowledge exist, in your mind is called something known as the subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is what manifests as the book of all your soul contracts housed in the Akashic Records. And the universe at large, including the Akashic Records, are just layers and layers of infinite reality that are magnifications of your own mind taking shape and form. But there's a protocol to entering the Akashic records so that it is about your soul communing with its highest truth, even though, of course, the ego would love to just bust through the doors and demand answers and run around. But in the same way that children can't just run around a museum of priceless artifacts, in the same way we enter into the hallway of records, the Akashic records, with reverence and with respect for the holiness of this divine appointment and this communion. And before I walk you through the closing of the Akashic records and take some calls about your experiences, let us just have one more experience and ask the Akashic records, please give to me something I can take back with me into my everyday life. Whether a word, a color, a symbol, a deeper feeling of connection, reassurance that I'm going to be okay, perhaps an answer I've been looking for, the name of one of my spirit guides, or maybe the face of a deceased loved one who's always walking with me along my path. Please provide me this or any gift right now. And no matter what gift is being received right now, we say these words out loud. Whether I receive a gift on command or it doesn't seem like anything is occurring, it just means that the gift that's been given is still finding its way into my consciousness. Thank you for the gifts given and received from the Akashic records. I am more whole and complete as a result. Thank you. Just feel that for a moment. So many of you know that I live in connection with the Akashic records, and there is so much of a protocol that I had to learn in order to live in this kind of connection. And in our future calls, like in our next call, I'm going to teach you how to ask proper questions in the Akashic records, because there are questions of the ego and there are questions of the soul. And when we ask questions of the ego, the Akashic records abides in silence. It sounds like we're not getting an answer, but if we learn how to ask questions from the soul's perspective, we always get answers. So in our next call, it's going to be about not just connecting with the Akashic records, but how to formulate the right question to receive the wisdom that the Akashic records has for you. And we just take this one step at a time. And a celebration of this monumental moment, because what we're doing on this call is historic, because I have been working with the universe to create an invocation that opens and closes the Akashic records that's never been offered before. So we are actually, it's like we are all traveling in space along a highway that was just created for this program, to create a direct pathway of connection between you and the cosmos that will always be open. And there will be times where I'll be taking other groups throughout this pathway, but we were the first ones to travel this road. And I'm so excited that we can do this together. And again, this is the first step of so many magnificent things that we will do together this year and beyond. Because you deserve to know how miraculous you are, and you deserve to feel all of your potential and power. If I have been made this powerful, I shall make you even more powerful than I. And with that, repeat these words out loud. And this is to close the Akashic records. Father, Mother, God, thank you for clearing away all doubts and distractions through the sacred hallways of the Akashic records. Thank you for using my thoughts, feelings, inspirations, and intuitions as a vessel for your highest will that I have accepted as the will of my own. Thank you for helping me let go of all that was ready to depart and helping me welcome all that is ready to enter my newly reborn reality, co-created with your eternal heavenly grace, with no expectations or resistance, to feeling, knowing, hearing, and remembering all that is. I accept the holy faith, the holy truth, the holy light, the holy love, and the holy perfection of sacred aligned communion. Thank you for opening the records of this soul. Please state your first, middle, and last name here. And for providing me all the clarity, encouragement, healing, integration, and expansion that I required at this time. Thank you for listening to my concerns, providing clarity to my questions, and shifting my awareness into a recognition of my highest truth. In the name of the light, I embody the oneness of my appointed divine authority and thank the knowledge of the Akashic records with openness, gratitude, humility, and joy. The Akashic records are now closed while I stay aligned with spirit and eager to act upon my newfound knowledge. Please ground me back into my body, fully anchored into this earth plane along the timeline of my soul's highest potential, and help me integrate this newly expanded vibration of consciousness with more happiness, peace, ease, empowerment, and serenity than ever before. I am ready to advance. And we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. And just take a moment. That was a nice little round trip ticket to the Akashic records. We blasted out, we connected, and we came back fully grounded in our body. And as we get ready to open up the phone line to taking your questions, if you have a question or would like to share an